Hey everybody, I'm Levi Wright, the Assistant Director of Prospective Student Services here at OSU Institute of Technology, and we're back again today with another live virtual tour. And today we're with the Construction Management Program to see and hear what a student's life will be like the 2 years they're here at OSU IT, but also their transition to the workforce. So as usual, if you have any questions through this time, please put those in the comments because we want to make sure we get those questions answered for you and get you the information that you want. Even if you're watching this later on while it's no longer live, you can still put comments on and we'll still get you that information. If you have any friends or family that you think would benefit from this, please go ahead and share it with them so that they're able to hear and listen in as well. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over and let our awesome instructors introduce themselves and tell us about their program.
Thank you, Levi. I'm Dooley Berthoff. I'm actually a graduate of the program itself. Been teaching here about 5 years, so it's been awesome. I liked the program when I was going through, so I decided, hey, might as well stay and teach it. I'm here with Jim. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself.
Jim Gordon. I'm the newest instructor here in the program. A recent graduate of the program as well, so privileged to be able to be back and teach where we just came through, so it's a good deal.
Wanting to talk a little bit about the program, try to get you guys interested in coming and joining the family. It is construction management. Basically, I teach most of the first year or first 3 semesters of the program, and Jim teaches the second 3 semesters of the program. In the intro to construction class, what you're going to learn is a little bit about construction. What is it? Kind of the scope of it. You are going to have to do presentations because once you get up higher into the organizations, you will have to learn how to talk in front of people. So we like to give you some of that experience, and multiple classes you will do presentations in, and Jim will explain some of that here in a little bit as well. You also will give you cost analysis as you will actually do a expenditures, see how you're doing in school, what you're spending your money on, and if you're in the hole or not. In the intro class, we'll give a little bit of a tour. We kind of go around the campus, go show more of what we do in the industry as well. Construction, Jim, do you want to talk about
Materials and procedures is basically an overview class of all the materials that are used in the construction industry, different types, the methods, how they're applied, their properties, why certain materials are chosen to do certain jobs. That's an overview, and then we move into the field engineering, which is a good chance that this is going to be the first job that you're going to have out of this program is a field engineering job of some sort. Even in an internship, you're going to do some of that, and that's the first hands-on course really that you're taught here. And Mr. Berthoff teaches it, and I'll let him explain a little bit.
All right. We actually have 3 field engineering. We have field engineering 1, 2, and 3. During the first field engineering course, we're going to go over some of the tools that you're going to see. We do have a total station set up over here to kind of look at. You will, if you're into the field engineering, if that's what your position is when you finish up, you will see a lot of that. They do have more gadgets now. There's robotics that you go up, you set it up, you get it all programmed, and then it follows you around. You go out there with the prism pole, and it finds you, and it tells you where you need to go and set point locations. But we go through multiple instruments. We go through an auto level that you can turn horizontals, but we are predominantly looking for vertical elevations with that. We'll go out and shoot quite a few labs. 10 to 15 labs a semester is about where I like it to be. you'll learn a little bit of trig to go along with that. Basically cosine, you'll learn a little bit of algebra, and predominantly that's the Pythagorean theorem. And so any of the mathematics that you need out of this program, we teach you. You will have to take algebra and trigonometry to graduate the program, but and we have a little different way to look at that. And most students like our way a little better, but sorry, mathematicians. But we go through, different, we get into a little bit of cut fill, which is we have more dirt here, we need to take it and move it over here, or take it away, or just fill it up. Field engineering 2, we get into more setups, where's the point locations. We do a lot of elevations and cut fill problems, and it's more lab intensive. The labs, you don't have as many labs, but we go out about any day that it's good enough to go out in. We're out in all weather, everything except for moisture. We don't do moisture, and when it gets a little too cold, we don't want anybody getting frostbite. So we'll kind of lay it off on that. But in the heat, we go out. We just make sure we have plenty to drink and appropriate attire for the programs. Construction blueprints and specs. We have a ton of blueprints that we look at. We go through the processes, how to look at the prints, how to read them, what the abbreviations are, what the symbols mean, where to go with those symbols, different pages, specifications. I do have, it's a really small version of the CSI master format, that this is how architects have arranged the different subjects of the project, going from concrete to escalators to whatever you want. They have them arranged in this order, so that if you need to find a specification, we'll go with concrete. What concrete mix is it? How hot is it? Do we need more plasticizers, things like that? What the steel is that we need into, what are the spacings of it, how thick's the concrete. I mean, all those specs are written in there that we tell you how to go find it and organize it, and Jim will kind of go through a little bit of that again here in just a little bit. We go into construction safety, OSHA 30. You will come out of the program with an OSHA 30 card. So our employers are expecting you to come out with an OSHA 30. You get that the first half of the summer semester. So we'll be going through OSHA here shortly. That class, OSHA 10, it kind of gives you an idea of what are some dangers in the job. Is there fall? Can you fall? Do you have I'm trying to think. Pinch points. Is what clothing you have to do for concrete. What helmets to use, what eye protection. We go through silicates now. They're also getting into decibel levels of the equipment. How long a period of time are we able to give so that everybody's safe? Kind of OSHA 10 kind of covers that. OSHA 30, we go beyond that. We tell you, okay, these are the dangers, these are the hazards of the projects. Now, how can we engineer this out? How can we avoid these? So not only do you have a good idea of what the dangers are, you have a really good idea of how to handle those situations. What's your what you're going to be accountable for. Then estimating 1, I'm going to go ahead and turn that over to Jim again.
As we start the program, we come in with the introduction and then the materials and methods so you know what you're dealing with. And in field engineering is how you get started. You get it out of the ground. Construction blueprints, of course, you have to know what is on the print, to know where things are built, how it's going to be built, and that kind of process. And the safety, you got to have that before you can go on your first internship. So we're getting down to the end of your first year, and you're going to take estimating 1. And estimating 1 is going to be simply making sure that you know how to do a quantity takeoff from a set of blueprints, so that you know how to count how many doors and windows are in that building, so that you know how to count how many concrete blocks, how many feet of rebars in that slab, and how many yards of concrete it takes to pour that slab. So all that stuff is what comes in estimating 1. And you'll also take, in that same semester, you'll take concrete construction, which teaches you everything you wanted to know about concrete and then a little bit more. And when you finish that program, you'll think, is there more to know about concrete? Well, you have just started. That's just the beginning. You will then know how much you don't know about concrete. So that's the first year, and then you get to your internship. The first of your 2 internships. This is at the end of the summer of your first internship, and it is paid. You find your own job. We give you the contacts, and you make the job. You get the interview, and hopefully you get a job. And your internship, a lot of people go back to the same company the second year, and when that happens, you've got a real good chance at getting that job when you graduate. So that's taking you through the entire first year of the program. The second year, starting in the fall, we have programs where you actually put your hands on more things. Wall and roof, you're going to see a slide in just a moment of that project that you do outside, where you actually erect a steel structure and put it together and then take it back down. Interior finishes, you're going to build your own little building, and you're going to put your own sheetrock on it. You're going to get to spread mud, you're going to get to sand mud, the whole bit there. Then we come to project scheduling. Scheduling is one of those aspects that people don't really think about. You just keep going. Well, you have to have a plan. How things are going to take, how long is it going to take, so you know when to order material. All this stuff goes into the process of building. And if you'll notice, the program takes you in order of the skills that you'll need to know, increasing as you go through the projects. So we've gotten through the interior finishes, and then our scheduling. Mechanical systems, heat and air, plumbing, data systems, control systems, lighting, all of those kind of mechanical systems that make the building function for you. It's not just a shell. Construction shop drawings. Shop drawings is what you do in the field to prepare to ask questions, to complete RFIs, or in other words, a request for information. If you're clarifying a problem on a set of plans, you've got an issue that you've run into and you're ahead of it, so you don't want to hold up work, you declare this request for information, goes to the architect approves it. He might have to go to an engineer before it gets back to you. It's a whole process, so we learn what's going on there. And then we come to estimating 2, and estimating 2 is where it really begins to hit the fan, because you have to put numbers with your items. Not only numbers for how much it costs, but how much is it going to cost you to put that piece of lumber or that piece of steel or that yard of concrete in place? What's it going to take? How much money is it going to cost me to get that from that truck into the building? Okay, that's estimating 2, the whole shooting match. Okay. Field engineering 3, much more the same. You'll do things like shoot a traverse, which is a surveying term where you will go and shoot your points, and you can calculate how much area is inside of those points from your calculations and measurements, and that's what we do with the total stations over here. Construction management is the paperwork side. If you may learn as many as 11 different types of insurance that your company may be required to have in order to do business in the construction industry. Your second internship comes the first part of your second year. It's another 8 week. We require 275 hours of work time. A lot of people go back and do their internship with the same people they did their first. Like I said, if you do that, it's a good chance you're going to get hired with that company. Mr. Berthoff will teach you about soils. Soils. Why is it important to know about soils? Well, because that's what your building sits in. That's what you grow things in. That's what the landscaping grows in. That's what's underneath your concrete. Okay? The soils is very important. Then your capstone experience. Part of what you're going to do is you're going to be using a construction information platform called Procore, and you're going to manage your own project. You're going to have a project that you're going to manage of about a $20 million budget is what the range is that you're going to be responsible for importing that budget, letting the contracts and those kind of things in that final project. So that's your overall, the program in a nutshell is what we've done. We want to show you some of the pictures now of what's in the program of some actual hands-on stuff that we've been doing from previous years.
This is a little bit of a different total station that they're using, just a different company that built it, but we have some students that are laying out a structure in, we just labeled this field engineering class, but it should be classes. You'll use that a lot. Blueprint reading, we have a student and one of our previous instructors looking over blueprints. In concrete class, one of our concrete classes, when you come to our campus right out in front of our building in between the Dean Olmsted's office and the construction office, we have these precast panels that we laid it out. We put when we were laying it out, we put all of our signage in there so that when the concrete got poured in and we pulled off the forms, we left these indentions for precast, and we had the students build that wall panel, set it in, and welded it up, and again it's outside in front of our building. Jim had mentioned the wall and roof systems of our steel structure. Have a picture of students getting ready to install the structure on the anchor bolts. They've already pre-built the 3 panels, if you want to call them that. So now they're going to start raising them up, getting it leveled up, getting it where it needs to be elevation wise, and then here's kind of the end structure, what it looks like when we get it done. Takes approximately 2 weeks with the class time, but we go through. We're doing it a little different now. We do have a brand new skid steer. It's a Bobcat skid steer that we put the structure up with, and we'll rent a scissor lift so that we can do away with ladders, and we put up some scaffolding as well to help put the structure up safely. Interior finishes, like Jim said, we'll go ahead and we'll erect the commercial grade steel studs, and once you get this room built, you'll go ahead and sheetrock inside and outside. You'll have windows, you'll have doors, you'll have to, you guys will be the ones that are putting this thing up and squaring it up, leveling it up. And you do the sheetrock from start to finish. And our internships, they are paid. That's the awesome part of it. The average pay runs 15 to 18, depending on how experienced you are with that. It is an 8-week internship. 7 weeks, I guess, but 7-week internship. Most of the times we can get you out to work for about 10 weeks, all in all, but the internship will just be 7 weeks of that. They are real job sites, depending on which area you want to go into. Construction's huge, but there's 3 basic pathways that you can take. You can go out and do field engineer, superintendent. You can go into the estimator area, and then you can go more into the project manager area. Project manager is the one, they're occasionally also the estimators, but they have, they're in charge of multiple job sites, and they do get out in the field, or some of them do get out in the field, but predominantly is more office work, more paperwork. They contact and get with the clients and architects and structural engineers and things like that. The estimators, they estimate how much this project's going to cost us from start to finish. And then field engineer and site superintendents are out on job site. They're the field people. You know, we give you an understanding of direction. You may think you want to go into the office, and you go out on your first internship and find out it's not really where I want to go. I really would rather be out into the field, or vice versa. But gives you a good direction on that. Increases your employment opportunities. Jim's mentioned that several times. You go, more likely, if you've internship there, they're going to give you an offer for your employment. And then better starting salaries. The more you're out in the field, the more you're going to make. Average exiting student out of here ranges about 40 to 60, in the mid 50s range, and that's just starting out after a 2-year program for that. And job site, $41 million hotel in Texas. This is just giving you an idea of how much steel that could go into this site before they put the concrete. I'd kind of like to give a little bit of a nice photo of some of our companies that we have. This by no means is all of them. We could fill up quite a few pages of different employment, but these are kind of the main players that we have that we can get a hold of. We do have some of them coming in and giving presentations, and then they do interviews, and you know, we put people in front of you. We do have 2 advisory programs a year, one in the spring, one in the fall. People from the industry come in and are around students. Students can ask questions, they can get a hold of them, they can do interviews, but these are the people from the industry partners that help us decide what we're going to have to do in the program, how to teach. You know, if drones are coming available, so you know, at some point in time in the future, we're going to probably have a drone or 2. You know, so, but industry partners tell us what we need to do to help them out, so of what instruction. BOK Center, had a student on it, student that went out into the Pitt State Stadium, and roadway. I believe this is in Texas. We can do road and bridge. Road and bridge is a really big business right now. Construction is one of those arenas that is essential. You know, without the infrastructure, we stall out. You know, we've had some construction companies that are scaling back a little bit, but predominantly we're still working. We're having to do a lot of different things. We're having to reschedule some stuff, but we keep going. We're essential. same bridge, just it's heading out over the water. Structure that we're going to be. We have a whole lot of scaffolding and false work. They looks like they're doing a above ground concrete floor. The Dallas Victory Hotel has students go in there. Had students that get into engineering as far as tunnels go. Nancy Creek Tunnel out of Atlanta, Georgia. We had a student go and was part of that. And some students looking doing some shotcrete on a looks like a tank base for a tank. And Margaritaville, if anybody's been in the River Spirits Casino, that's the Margaritaville casino cantina in there, and that's the construction management kind of in a small ball.
Excellent. Well, we do have some questions. We had one way back earlier when you were talking about the math courses. We had someone ask, do students have support to get through the math courses? Trig, yikes.
Yes. Yeah, the Lasso Center is awesome. I mean, they've been here. They know what it is. They can you can just walk in and tell them which instructor, and they'll know where you're at and what problems you're having. I mean, they are awesome. We also do help with that if needed. But yes, we have a lot of support. But the Lasso Center is awesome.
So free tutoring, that is
Yes.
great. We had another one. If I take a blueprint class at a career tech, will I get credit for that?
That's case by case. What we would have to do is just basically find out what that was and what you got out of it. There is a possibility that it would be we could do an advanced standing, and with that, if we felt comfortable enough, we would give you an exam, and if you pass that, you could get advanced standing.
Excellent. Now, what about women in this industry? Are there opportunities for females to go through a program like this and work in these fields?
Yes, and we're trying to come up with something that's going to tell females that this isn't just a male industry. It's a male-dominated industry right now, but females have so much potential in this industry. Not just doing the office work. There's a ton of females that go out and are field engineers, superintendents, project managers. It is unreal what they can, what they have the opportunity to do. It's not just all digging ditches and sweeping floors. They have a lot of opportunities. Yes.
Excellent. You did a really, really good job of explaining and showing some of the companies that students go to work for when they graduate. But what's a typical starting pay for someone graduating from this 2-year program going into a full-time job in the industry?
About 45 to 60-ish. Yeah, it's mid 50s. Some companies, depending on what the company is, the benefit packages are a little different. Some companies will give you a truck to drive or vehicle to drive. Others give you an allowance for that, and I've heard several different dollar figures for that. But that's for them to decide that. 401ks, insurances are great. Typically, they'll give you a phone to use. And a lot of that's involved with that overall figure.
Excellent. Awesome. Well, do either of you have anything you'd like to say as kind of a final statement to maybe any students considering the program or thinking about maybe a potential career in one of these fields?
Just come on. We're the more people we have, the better off we are. We try to really get hands-on. The first year is more hands-on than lecture in certain courses of that, but we try to give real-world experience. We give in the blueprints. We'll give you some blueprints that are beginner blueprints, how to kind of read, where to go, and then we give prints that we have buildings that have been constructed on site, so that some have problems going from 2D to 3D, figuring out what it looks like off paper. So if we have questions, we'll go over and walk over to the building and say, here's what we were looking at. Does this look like what you thought it would look like? And but no, just come on, we're good.
Lots of experiences, and the possibility for you to take your career where you want it to go is really up to you. You're going to get out of it what you put into it. If you spend the time and do the extra work and prove yourself of the work ethic that the people are looking for, you show up every day, you're there early, and you're not asking, what do you want me to do? You're already ahead of it. Those are the chances that you're going to take, that you're going to get a better opportunity, and you're going to create better opportunities for yourself. So it's really up to you. Come and take the chance, and as our slogan says, be true to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you to both of our instructors for your time today and willingness to share this information. Thank you all so much for joining. Make sure you follow the Friends of Pete on social media so that you can keep up with these as they go. Again, if you have any questions that weren't answered, go ahead and leave those in the comments, and we will come back and get those answered. Like he said, make sure you guys stay safe, stay true to you, and go Pokes.